Hello and welcome to At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Oftentimes people hear the word leader and they think only of political leaders, but leaders come in many forms, and that's worth exploring. I'm Jim Hoyer, born and raised in West Virginia, a husband, a father, a new grandfather, and a retired military leader, serving for over 40 years in public leadership for our state and nation. Now, the most important mission I have going forward is to educate, motivate, and empower our next generation of leaders. At the leadership table with me today is State Treasurer of West Virginia, Larry Pack. Larry is a proud, lifelong West Virginian with an impressive career. He's been a successful entrepreneur for decades in accounting and healthcare. For the past several years, he's brought all that knowledge and leadership with him into public service for our state. Like me, Larry's a father and a grandfather and has that vision for making West Virginia achieve its full potential for our children and grandchildren. And Larry's been a great friend. We've worked together both on disaster recovery, economic development projects, and Larry, I greatly appreciate on behalf of my family your commitment to the state of West Virginia, and we are happy to have you joining us at the leadership table today.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity and look forward to the conversation.
So, Larry, we're going to start out by asking you the same first question we ask all of our guests, and that is, please share with us a standout moment when you learned something really important about leadership.
Yeah, I think probably what stands out to me the most is when I got in the healthcare business many years ago. I thought it was kind of a part-time job. I was still doing my CPA work. I kind of handed off a lot of the decisions to another group, another person, and we had some tough outcomes that I was not satisfied. So all of a sudden, I was thrust into having to make decisions, having to let one of my best friends go from a position and assume that position myself. So, leadership is so important, not just from the responsibility standpoint, but also just to give guidance and to be there in the trenches when it's necessary. So that's probably my one that sticks with you most. But again, it goes all the way back to playing baseball when you're a kid, and it seemed like I was always the captain. And there's a fine line between pushing your folks to get the best out of them and pushing them too far. And you just learn that by experience. I never had a management course, so I learned by the school of hard knocks and made a lot of mistakes over the years. But it's all about building teams and keeping teams together.
And sometimes learning by experience is the best teacher we've got. And Larry, you've held a variety of leadership roles that focused on job creation, economic growth, healthcare, particularly taking care of our elderly population in the state of West Virginia, and now successful leader in the public sector. Can you trace for our listeners your life path and how you came up in West Virginia and what has motivated you as your career has unfolded over the years?
Yes, yeah, would love to do that. I grew up in the East Bank area, so went to East Bank High School. Like most of my friends in those days, all we did was play ball for all those years. But by playing baseball, football, basketball, you just learned so much about leadership, so much about teams, about being competitive, and you learn how to lose, which is really, really important in the business world, right? And just the give and take. But I went to West Virginia Tech, got an accounting degree, joined a small local firm, Herman Cormany in Charleston. We did mostly healthcare and coal industry type stuff. Became a partner at 26, so kind of early. Stayed there for another 5 or 6 years and started my own firm. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and did that for about 10 years. All through the CPA time, I had this little business and that little business, and I know one of our lawyers always made fun of us. He called us bad deals or us. So some of it worked out, some of it didn't work out. But you're learning, right? You're always learning and trying new things. And some the CPA is a great place to learn about business, because I had some clients that taught me a lot, paid me a lot to teach me. But then after the CPA stuff, I got in the healthcare business. And again, when we got into it, I thought it was a business, to be honest with you. I really looked at it as just a business opportunity. But after about 6 months or a year, our patients just stole my heart. And all of a sudden it became a mission. It became a calling. And, so we did home health, hospice, skilled care, long-term care, Alzheimer's care, just basically anything that the elderly would need. And it really just came about making their lives better. So we had a number of different types of patients, but one type of patient was we were going to get them home as quickly as we can for another season of life. And so it was basically a celebration after you did the rehab and you sent them back home. Another type of patient had to stay with us, and our job there was to make every day as good as it could. And that was our mission. That was our passion. My job was to enable and to resource our caregivers, to take care of the caregivers. If I took care of them, I knew they could take care of our patients. And so I listened closely to the doctors and the nurses and try to do everything I can. But it was a great it was a great passion. I really loved it, enjoyed it, had a great team. We went from 3 people to about 3,500 people when we, as far as teammates, when we sold. But God kind of closed that window and started calling us away. The pandemic was a difficult time, and it was just time to kind of move on to something else. But love the Stone Rise folks, very proud of it. I think we really made a difference in West Virginia during that time.
Yeah, and I can say from personal experience of working with you during the pandemic response that you all went above and beyond to make sure that you took care of the people in your care, and that made a significant impact on our success as a state related to the pandemic response. So you've had the opportunity to serve in the House of Delegates, then you served as a senior advisor to Governor Justice when we went through some challenging disaster responses, but also some great economic successes. You're now our state treasurer, but I'm not sure all of the people across the state really understand the complexity of what the state treasurer's responsibilities are to the people of West Virginia. Can you walk us through that just a little bit?
Oh, sure. It's it's a really, I think, even a lot more than I'd anticipated. But it really starts with the treasurer is the chief financial officer for the state of West Virginia. So our job is to give financial advice to the governor and to the legislature in a really big picture way. So we do that. We're the state's bank, so it's not very sexy. But we make sure the checks go where their checks are supposed to go. The checks get deposited where they're supposed to get deposited. We have a very big government, so that's a huge job. We take care of all the investments for the state. So there's about almost $40 billion. Some of the money is short-term money that we have just for a little bit. We do that through the Bureau of Treasury Investments, and then we have about $26 billion in basically pension money that we invest in, and we will make sure that the money is there when our pensioners need that money. So that's a huge responsibility. We have unclaimed property, so we've got about $400 million of West Virginians' money that we're trying to find the rightful owner. That money's been turned over to us, and our job is to get it in the right hands. So we work hard there. We do the college savings plans, so that's a big part of what we do. We've got about 40,000 accounts for K through 12 children that are preparing to go to college, and so we're encouraging their parents and grandparents to invest those funds, and then we're in charge of making sure those investments are getting them a good return on the money. We also do the 457 plan, which is like a deferred comp plan for state employees. So we just have a lot of things kind of going on. We're on a lot of boards, so we're on the West Virginia Economic Development Board, so we weigh in there. the pension board. So a lot of different responsibilities, but all relates to dollars and cents and making sure that West Virginians taxpayers' money is invested and spent in the proper way.
Yeah, and I appreciate you giving that overall view, because again, I don't think all of our citizens fully understand the complexity of and the responsibility that you have, and you were overwhelmingly elected by the citizens of the state to take that on because of, I believe, your background and your experience. So you've been involved both in the public and the private sector in responding to challenges, creating jobs, improving healthcare access, strengthening communities, taking care of people. Can you give us a little bit of perspective on how you see the private sector and the business community working effectively with state government to continue to improve West Virginia's future?
Yeah, the private sector and the public sector is just is so different. And really a lot of what I did at the private sector, whether it's as a CPA or in the healthcare industry, is figuring out how to work around all the different permits and requirements and regulations and laws that the state puts in front of us. So we have a very regulated state government. We have a big state government that puts a lot of barriers and obstacles in the way of job creators, people that want to grow their businesses and grow their organizations. And so I bring probably a little chip on my shoulder when I come to state government. Not so much that there's not good people in state government. There's a lot of good people in state government, but a lot of the rules have been passed and regulations have been passed are really just kind of in the way. And so what I try to do is bring the perspective, hey, do we really need to have this rule? Do we really need to have this law? Why can't we let these businesses or make their own decisions, or why can't we let the counties and cities make the decisions so people don't have to come to Charleston? So that's what I work hard to try to explain and try to just give a different perspective. State government will never be operated like a business, nor should it be, but we can be a lot more efficient and we can be a lot less burdensome on the taxpayer.
Yeah, and you and I had experiences both in the response to emergencies and in the job creation side, and I got to see firsthand you leverage that business acumen into helping us move things along more effectively. And you've got that experience in finance, healthcare, entrepreneurship, and now government. Taking all those things together, what advice would you give to the next generation of leaders that were looking to move West Virginia forward, and how they can make a difference in our state?
I just from my perspective, I think one of the first things is find, once you come out of college and you got your degree or degrees, find an environment where you can learn. Find someone that's going to be willing to teach you and to bring you along. I was really blessed. The senior partner in my accounting firm when I started, he was probably my age now, so he was in his 60s, and I was a young green 20-year-old out of East Bank at West Virginia Tech. He would take me to meetings and just let me sit in a corner and listen. And that's what and he would teach. He would say, this is what happened after the meeting, because I didn't understand, but I learned so much from watching him, what to do, what not to do. He taught me a lot about reading. So he would give me the Wall Street Journal and say, take it home every night. I read it for years. I had no idea what I was reading, but eventually it starts kicking in, or he'd give me books to read. So you can't read enough. Also the curiosity is be curious about how something works, why something works. I've always been accused of asking questions like a 3-year-old. But I don't know how you learn if you don't ask questions. And so it's really a continuing learning process, but it's getting in that right environment where someone is willing to mentor you. And I've been very blessed by having really good mentors. And now sometimes from your mentors, you learn what not to do as much as what to do, but just staying in that situation. And we never quit learning. We never quit reading. We just keep going. That is absolutely my advice. And it doesn't really matter where you start out in the public sector or private sector, but it's good to have a taste in both worlds.
Yeah, and Larry, last question. You and I both share leadership role that I think we would both consider the most important leadership role that you could have, and that is of parent and grandparent. So with that in mind, what do you envision as your hope for West Virginia going forward for our grandkids and our children?
Yep. Yes. Yeah. I have 6 children. The youngest are triplets. Matter of fact, we had a wedding last weekend with our middle daughter. She's 25. So we're just still coming down off that high. But I really believe that West Virginia is the best state in America, the best state to raise a family. We have a very low crime rate. We have absolutely the beauty is just absolutely amazing. A few weeks ago, I drove from Preston County through Canaan Valley. Went through Seneca Rocks down to the observatory, down to White Sulphur, and eventually to Lewisburg. I mean, you've got to go all the way to Colorado to get another drive like that. So the beauty here is just amazing. The people are friendly. There's a lot of opportunity here. We have more jobs now than we have people. We've never had that in my lifetime before. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of reason to be here. And when you're raising a family, having your family close, having your extended family close is such a blessing. Having that big church family, which a lot of us have here in West Virginia. So there's just a lot of benefits to staying here in West Virginia and continue to make West Virginia a better state. So we've got a lot of young folks here doing really, really good stuff. Our jobs as being on the other end is to help them and do everything we can to help them make them successful.
Well, Larry, I want to thank you for your friendship, your leadership, but most importantly, your dedication to the state of West Virginia, your home state, and making it a better place for our children and grandchildren and everyone's children and grandchildren. And thank you for joining us at the leadership table.
Very good. Thank you, General. Have a nice day.
Thanks for listening. This has been At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Did you know you can now find me on social media at RMG Hoyer? That's HOYER, or email me at rmgjameshoyer@gmail.com.